What's up, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap, the final regular season recap of the season before we get into the playoffs. Mike Trout will not stop hitting home runs. He's having the worst season of his career by far, but he's still been 21% better than average. He's a freak. The New York Mets, I don't even know what to say. That fan base deserves a Medal of Honor for the pain they've endured. And then on top of that, Pete Alonso compounded the pain by announcing he's opting out. Brother in Christ, read the room. Rafael Devers and Willy Adames both did something that hasn't been done in over a decade for the Giants, and the Giants then fired their manager. Shohei Ohtani hit his 55th home run, breaking a record that he set last year, and the race for the AL East, it's finally meeting its end. Who came out on top? You guys know the drill. We'll talk about all of that and more in today's MLB recap. Again, this is the final regular season recap of 2025. Saying those words out loud is always surreal to me. Like, we made it through another season. This series takes a lot out of me, and I'm just happy that you guys support it. So thank you so much. And as always, don't forget to save yourself 20 bucks off on SeatGeek using code Fuzzy. And be sure to check out Underdog Fantasy. Download it from the App Store or the Google Play Store. Enter in code Fuzzy and reap the benefits. So because we didn't get to post yesterday, I wasn't able to show the walk-off hit by pitch by the Guardians to squeak into the playoffs. They have to be the first team ever to walk off to make the playoffs and then walk off to win the division as they completed the biggest comeback in MLB history. So after Masataka Yoshida, David Hamilton, Jarren Duran, and the Red Sox took care of business with the Tigers with a giant Javier Báez scare in between with a 3-run home run, I just have to say, from all of us Guardians fans across the country, we owe the Red Sox a great deal of love and respect. Like, I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse gift cards. I'm talking Fortnite, V-Bucks, whatever they want, they got it from us. And to all of my Tigers fans that are watching, good news is you made the playoffs, but I do have to be a fanboy. We just made the biggest comeback in MLB history. The Guardians were literally playing with house money because this game didn't mean anything once the 7th inning hit, because that's when the Tigers lost. The Guardians, they clinched the Central regardless of whether or not they won or lost. But then Big Christmas, he homered 5 seconds after the Tigers lost, and after tying it and going down in extras, this Bo Naylor RBI double set up this walk-off 3-run home run off the pole for Brayan Rocchio. He can smell October. Remember, last year, he hit .333 with a 900 OPS in the playoffs. The Guardians, they came back down from 15 and a half games back to quite literally steal a division crown. 15 and a half games back to division winner. It's never been done before. So now I have to ask, what was the bigger embarrassment? The Tigers losing a 15 and a half game lead but still making the playoffs, or the Mets being eliminated entirely? I feel like that's a loaded question. Eric Wagaman of the Marlins got it going, and Miami never looked back. You had RBIs from Navarreto. Sanoa had an RBI triple. Xavier Edwards got it to a 4th spot in the 4th as Edward Cabrera said night-night. He handed the Mets a warm glass of milk and read them Goodnight Moon as a bedtime story. He had 7 strikeouts over 5 scoreless. The Marlins took 2 of 3 from the Mets to spoil the Mets season, but honestly, New York spoiled it themselves. They were 0-8 with runners in scoring position. They had double plays from Lindor and Juan Soto. I can see it now. The endless videos across YouTube of the $341 million disaster, because that was the payroll for the Mets this year. Crazy to say out loud, but the Mets will not be in the playoffs in 2025. Let's check in on some of their fans to see how they're holding up.
About the Pink Pony Club! Pink Pony Club!
Just to kind of put some context into perspective, that game was after a 4-2 Reds loss, so all the Mets had to do was win and they were in. It wasn't a fun start because Ellie and TJ both hit home runs, so I'm sure Mets fans were kind of going through it. But then Milwaukee gave their little bros in the division a giant noogie and put them back in their place. This was like holding a controller over your younger sibling. It's just out of reach, and sometimes you just have to remind them that they're the younger sibling. Turang had an RBI. Danny Jansen ripped a 2-run home run for the lead, and Andrew Vaughn put the cherry on top for the league best 97th win by the Brewers. Again, the advantage shifted to the Mets, but they completely wet the bed. The Reds are moving on, and I gotta say, Hunter Green, Andrew Abbott, and Nick Lodolo is a pretty fun 1-3, and they have some pretty talented guys on offense. Me likey. Now, a lot of people are not going to agree with this, but I got to talk about Pete Alonso because after the game, he confirmed that he's opting out. Now, it wasn't like he said it himself. A reporter did ask, but I would have simply said no comment because, brother in Christ, read the room. Also, you, Mr. Reporter, read the room. Like, the team just got eliminated, and now you want to add insult to injury? Why? We know that he had 38 home runs, 126 RBIs, a 145 OPS plus. No duh, he was going to opt out, so maybe I'm being a little bit harsh on Pete for confirming. But again, time and place, my guy. Your fan base is reeling. No need to say, yeah, I'm about to peace out and go get my $40 million a year for the next 3 or 4 years. Just like those Cleveland and Tigers games, if the Jays win, the Yankees will have to settle for the wild card, just like the Tigers. Alejandro Kirk, he backpacked the Jays again. He had a 3-run home run in the first and a 2-run home run in the 5th. I think he had 6 RBIs in this game. He had 3 home runs his final 2 games. He finishes 2025 with 15 home runs, 76 RBIs. Oh, and by the way, he was the best blocking catcher in baseball, and he's an elite framer, so he's as good as it gets behind the dish. Addison Barger, his awesome season ends with 21 home runs, 30-plus doubles. Springer, this guy was a maniac. After this home run, he ended with a I'm not going to round up this time because he had a 309 batting average. I wanted to say 310, but it wasn't. He had 32 home runs, 18 stolen bases, a 161 OPS plus. If the Blue Jays bullpen holds, the American League is going to have their hands full. By the way, yes, the Jays do secure a bye with the Mariners, but we'll talk about the full postseason picture in a moment. We have a 4 home run game coming up in this Orioles and Yankees finale, not from one dude, but 4 in total. Ben Rice had 2 of them. He's had a magical 2025. Jordan Westburg and Gunnar Henderson, they both tagged a few pitches to momentarily steal the lead again. It was for like 5.5 seconds. Stanton, he knocked an Aaron Judge, who has a 10.1 F4. Cal Raleigh has a 9.1. How is Cal going to win? Like, narratives are going to have to push him. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Ben Rice's second home run of the game was the finishing touch. He's been a monster this year. 26 home runs, a 131 OPS plus as a part-time catcher to help Wellesley get some days off. He's been super valuable this year. Those were all of the most important games from yesterday. Let's kind of fly through the others and give an update on the playoff matchups and the final stat leaders across the league. We have a really fun fact coming up that really blew my mind. Rafael Devers has played all 163 games, not 162. He played 163. Also, Willy Adames, he just became the first Giants hitter since Barry Bonds to have 30. I thought that Posey did it once. I thought that Brandon Belt maybe did it. Nope. Willie is the first guy since Bonds to do that. He had 1 home runs his first 29 games. He had 29 his final 131. Devers has 30 and 100 again. He ends with 35 home runs and 109 RBIs. But again, this was his 163rd game. He's the first player since Justin Morneau to do that. He did that back in 2008. Boston had played 1 more game than the Giants when Rafael Devers was traded, and then Devers played every single game with the Giants. So, yeah. He played 163. Logan Webb, this guy is as consistent as it gets. He didn't allow any runs, so he dropped his ERA to a 3.2. He had 8 more strikeouts. He had 224, which is the most in his career by far. The Giants, they got to be big spenders. And let me know, what does their offseason look like? And we do have some breaking news about the Giants. They just fired Bob Melvin. He finishes 81-81 this year, 80-82 last year. Again, though, he's a 3-time manager of the year. I guess he just wasn't able to make the right chess moves and galvanize the troops like the Giants front office expected. But then again, the Giants were bottom 20 in runs scored as an offense and ERA as a staff. So, like, what was he supposed to do with that? What do you guys make of this move? Now, one more thing super quick. The Rockies finished 43-119, which is not the worst record ever, but their negative 234 run differential is the worst in modern baseball history. They finished 2025 with a combined 6.64 ERA from starters, the worst in Rockies history. They are 163 and 320 their last 3 seasons combined. I feel like a grievance is coming their way. They've got to get sued by the other owners in baseball because remember, there's revenue sharing. The Rockies, for being terrible, they get money for being terrible from the good teams. You guys thought those Logan Webb numbers were good. Cristopher Sánchez got his ERA down to 2.5. He had back-to-back shutouts to end his 2025. He racked up 8 strikeouts in this one, just 2 base hits. Shout out to Simeon Woods Richardson, who had 9 strikeouts. He has 23 strikeouts, just 2 runs allowed his last 3 starts combined. He could be fun with Taj Bradley if they both get the walks down in a rotation with Joe Ryan, Pablo Lopez, and others. Jeffers had a double, but then Kepler's 18th forces extras, and Castellanos, he walked it off. If this was a World Series preview, Seattle fans are not too excited about making October. The Dodgers just swept them. Ha-Seong Kim, he went 410 feet on this big boy home run. Freddie Freeman, he's been out of his mind since the end of July. He has 14 home runs, 37 RBIs, and a 950 OPS since basically the beginning of August. Kershaw, he is not on the wild card roster. Remember, only the 2 best records from division winners get a bye. Again, we'll talk about that in a second because the Dodgers are facing off against the Reds. Kershaw went 5 1/3 shutout with 7 strikeouts in his final regular season start ever. He had a 3.3 ERA this year. He could have kept on going if he wanted to. Ohtani, he did it. 55 home runs is not only a new career high, but it's another Dodgers record. He set it last year with 54. He also has 20 stolen bases, so he casually ends 2025 with 146 runs scored, 55 home runs, 102 runs batted in, 20 stolen bases, a 179 OPS plus, and a 2.8 ERA with 62 strikeouts in 47 innings. He is quite literally Pepe Alazar from the old MLB The Show games. He has 99 everything. The Padres these last few days, should scare everyone. Now, Tatis did not homer in this one, but he did have a 3-homer streak going before this one. Ketel hit his final home run of the season. That was the only highlight for the Snakes. The M&Ms delivered. I'm talking about Machado and Merrill. They both had RBIs. Xander had a 2-run double, and then the M&Ms were back at it. Manny and Jackson, they both had 2-hit games with multiple RBIs. Jackson actually had 3 RBIs, and he got on base 4 times. Brandon Pfaadt allowed 8 runs. He's up to a 5.25 ERA after being given that extension. He is not going to get his options later of like $21 and $25 million if he doesn't pick it up. It's sad to see with Gallon stinking it up as well. The Diamondbacks offense was insane in the second half. They scored the 4th most runs of anyone, but pitching was stinky. So for 2026, the key, pitching, and more pitching. Yo, the White Sox ended 2025 on a high note. It was an 8-0 shutout to cap off a 6 second half. Well, I should say 6 for White Sox standards. They were top 10 in runs scored. They were the 3rd worst in the first half, just to give that some context. Miguel Vargas ripped a 2-run home run. He has 16 home runs alongside 30-plus doubles. Brooks Baldwin is only 25. He's been showing some promise this year. They put up plenty for Shane Smith, who was nasty in the first half, fell off bad, but then ended how he started, by being nasty. 1 hit, 8 strikeouts over 6 scoreless. He ends 2025 with a 3 ERA and 60 strikeouts his final 55 innings. That'll work. By the way, Michael A. Taylor is retiring, and I do want to show some of his web gems because he's honestly one of the best defensive outfielders of this generation. He almost had 100 defensive run saves, and he had 64 outs above average. He's also in the 100 double, 100 home run, 100 stolen base club. The White Sox offseason, this is going to be their biggest in years, but again, I had to tip my cap to Michael A. Taylor. Same with the Nationals, who had a near 5.6 ERA as a pitching staff in the second half. When you have James Woods, CJ Abrams, Dylan Cruz, a breakout superstar rookie like Dalen Lyle, that is a very good core. You now need Mackenzie Gore, Cade Cavalli, and Mitchell Parker to get right in the offseason and take those next steps. You got to get Josiah Gray back and healthy. Who's going to make the playoffs first? The Nationals or the White Sox? I think we should also talk about the Angels because we cannot forget about their pathetic attempt at a starting rotation. No disrespect to Yusei and Jose Soriano, but their offense has been pretty good. Mike Trout homered again. He had his worst season by far, and it was still 26 home runs and a 121 OPS plus, like I said in the intro. The dude's an all-time freak. Yainer and the Astros, I guess they liked that swing, so they copied it. They just started spamming the power swing. Yainer joined the 20 home run club. Ramon Urias was bad as an Astro, so it's nice to see him barrel up a baseball. Rookie Bryce Matthews hit a home run. Victor Caratini hit a home run. This is the first time that the Astros have not made the playoffs in 9 years. Health is the only solution for the Astros going forward, and re-signing Framber Valdez, I'll put that out there. But the Angels, they have to fix the staff. I'm talking about the entire staff, starters and bullpen. They had a combined 5.3 ERA this year. That is the 3rd worst in baseball. Go get a Shane Bieber or a Zach Gallen. Maybe a Brandon Woodruff if he opts out, which I think he's going to. The Angels have to spend some money on pitching because they have some pretty talented offensive pieces. Then again, the Royals spent a lot of money and it didn't work this year, but that's just because they didn't really stay all that healthy. The A's spent some money, and honestly, they've been one of the better teams in the second half. So it does work to spend some money. It also helps when you draft first name Nick, last name Kurtz. He had another home run, but that was after Casey went up 4 on some sloppy A's baseball. Cole Ragans punched out 8 through 4 1/3. I think the Royals honestly would have made the playoffs if he did not get hurt. He's now struck out 18 his last 9 innings, which is just ridiculous for a starter. Yaz and Jensen both got some baseballs to leave. This Carter Jensen kid might be the truth. He has elite pop time for a catcher. He also has 9 extra base hits and 13 RBIs and an awesome 17% strikeout rate his first 20 big league games. Bobby Witt Jr. in a down offensive season had 47 doubles, 23 home runs, 38 stolen bases, and an 8 F4. He's just insane. Yaz, a perfect time to hit 2 home runs to end a season. The 35-year-old, a soon-to-be free agent, had 9 home runs and a 131 OPS plus with the Royals, so maybe he'll get a platoon job at least. I hope so, because I like Yaz. Kurtz has 36 home runs, 86 RBIs in his first 117 games. He ends the season with a 1.002 OPS. He finished above that 999 plateau. Ronald, my lord, 451 feet to really wake up the crowd. He had 21 home runs and a 165 OPS plus. Imagine if he never got hurt. But also, he and Soto have to fix that dang defense because they would be perennial 10 more players if they did that. Sale had 9 more strikeouts. He's as nasty as ever. I'm not even joking. This is his highest strikeouts per 9 seasons since 2019. He ends 2025 with a 2.5 ERA and 165 strikeouts in 125 innings. Olsen had 2 more base hits. He led the NL in doubles. He finishes with 41 doubles, 29 home runs, 95 RBIs, a 138 OPS plus with a whopping 18 defensive run saves and 9 outs above average. He's probably going to win the Gold Glove. The Braves are going to be so good next year. Like, I'm talking 95+ wins good. Seiya said see ya for the last time. He has 31 home runs. Javier Assad worked 5 1/3 shutout with 6 strikeouts. He's honestly going to be a pretty nice Swiss Army knife option out there in the postseason. Jordan Wicks converted a 3-inning save as the Cubs end up with 92 wins. They were 2nd in runs scored in all of baseball as an offense and 6th in team ERA as a pitching staff. That'll play. Here is the full postseason picture at a glance. We have the Tigers and the Guardians facing off again. I think they're about to face off like 10 times over the last 2 weeks. They'll be in Cleveland. The Yankees will be taking on the Red Sox in New York. That is going to be absolute cinema. Whoever wins the Guardians and Tigers series will face the Mariners, who got a first-round bye. Whoever wins the Yankees and Red Sox will face the Jays, also a first-round bye. The Brewers will face the winners of the Padres and Cubs series, and then the Phillies, they'll take on the winner of the Dodgers and the Reds. Could you imagine if the Reds shocked the world and won that series? And last but not least, let's talk about the stat leaders across the game to end the 2025 season. Aaron Judge, he is your batting champion in both leagues. He hit 331. Home runs is pretty straightforward. We know that there was only one guy in the 60 home run club. That is Cal Raleigh. Runs batted in, we have 132 by Kyle Schwarber. He bet on himself. There's no extension in place. He is a free agent after 2025, so he's going to get absolutely paid. Bobby Witt Jr., he led the world in base hits with 184, just ahead of Bo Bichette. Imagine how many Bo would have had if he didn't miss the last month of the season. Jose Caballero led everyone with 49 stolen bases. No one reached 50 this year. Jose Ramirez and Chandler Simpson, they were tied with 44. Jose having 44 is insane. Max Fried, he was the only starting pitcher with 19 Ws. ERA, we know that there was one guy with a sub-2 ERA. That is Paul Skeens. And also, let me know, if there was a one-game playoff of your life, would you rather have Paul Skeens or Tarek Skubal? Carlos Estevez just narrowly beat Robert Suarez. Only 2 guys had 40 saves. Estevez had 2 more with 42. Strikeouts, Garrett Crochet had 255, 14 more than Skubal. There was no one else even in the 230 strikeout club. According to outs above average, Bobby Witt Jr. was the most valuable defender in baseball. He had a mind-melting 25 outs above average. And the last but not least, who led everyone in F4? F4 is what Major League Baseball uses to hand out awards and bonuses and stuff like that. So we're going to use F4, not Baseball Reference 4. Aaron Judge, he led the pack with another 10 F4 season. He ends with 10.1, 1 full point ahead of Cal Raleigh. So again, Aaron Judge should win MVP. I don't know if he's going to, though. And there we have it. Another regular season of recap in the books. Thank you guys so much for always supporting. And a big shout out to my editor, Pesky Talk. He basically uploaded with me 6 times a week for the last few months. So make sure you guys go spam Pesky Talk with some subscriptions. He's been going crazy with uploads as of late, so go support him. Thank you guys for everything, for growing the game of baseball with me, a video at a time. Appreciate you guys. Enjoy the final web gems of the regular season from 2025. I'll see you guys soon for some playoff baseball.
Well struck to left. Lyle to his right. Sucked into left field by Meadows. Catches the wall. They play at second base, a slide in and out at second. Now broke about, watch out, Ferguson. The ball skips off him. He's able to catch it in the breadbasket and flip to first. Judge rips to third. It's devoured by Westberg.
Smith with a fly ball here to shallow left center.
Taylor lays out with
ground ball stopped at third by Hernandez, throwing from his knees. Oh, did you?